The familiar image has always been clear. A princess in a polished palace. A girl raised for a crown. A future already written. But what if that image was incomplete? What if the world has misunderstood the evolution unfolding right in front of them? And what if the turning points that shaped her were nothing like the public ever imagined? Princess Leonor's story is not the one history planned. And today, you'll finally see why. From the moment she entered the world, the expectations surrounding her were enormous. Spain looked at this small infant and silently whispered the weight of 1,000 years of monarchy. The daughter of a king. The heir to a throne. The symbol of continuity in a nation that has fought, fractured, healed, and rebuilt across generations. And yet, behind that iconic image stood someone far more complex than the public ever realized. Her evolution didn't begin the day she took her oath. It began much earlier, in the quiet, unseen transitions that shaped her character long before she stepped into the spotlight with confidence and command. Every royal moment the world remembers was built on foundations hidden from view. And each foundation holds a turning point that explains everything she has become. To understand her rise, you must first understand her silence. For years, Princess Leonor grew under extraordinary public attention, yet maintained a striking calmness. She rarely spoke. She rarely appeared alone. She rarely expressed herself beyond the carefully curated settings of royal protocol. The world assumed this silence was shyness, a lack of readiness, an uncertainty about her role. But that assumption created the first major curiosity loop in her life. Was the future queen unsure of herself, or was she preparing with purpose? This question followed her through childhood. While the tabloids speculated, something entirely different was happening behind palace doors. Her parents were not raising her to be ornamental royalty. They were raising her to be operational royalty. Instead of polishing her into a ceremonial figurehead, they were shaping her into a functional leader with the discipline, self-control, and stamina to withstand the pressures of modern monarchy. And that training required silence, observation, study, listening, absorbing, internalizing. Her silence was not a weakness. It was her first preparation phase. But the world didn't notice. Not yet. Then came the second major turning point, her education. As outsiders wondered why Spain's future queen seemed so shielded, she was entering one of the most rigorous and demanding academic journeys any heir to the throne has ever taken. Language mastery, history, constitutional law, diplomacy, ethics, international relations. She wasn't simply learning how to stand beside a throne. She was learning how to uphold it. And here lies the hidden transformation. Leonor was not just being educated. She was being hardened. Not in the cold sense, but in the sense of resilience. The world tends to view royalty through glamour. Yet true monarchy is a lifelong test of pressure, responsibility, and self-sacrifice. Before she could carry the crown on her head, she had to carry the weight of it in her mind. As these academic years unfolded, something deepened inside her, a quiet discipline, a strong moral framework, a gentle but firm understanding of duty. But still, the public saw only curated appearances. So the narrative continued. Is she too soft, too sheltered, too young? And just when those questions began to grow louder, the next turning point arrived. Her first major speech. The moment the world finally heard her voice. It wasn't timid. It wasn't uncertain. It wasn't rehearsed into stiffness. It was controlled yet natural. Youthful yet dignified. A voice carrying both clarity and intention. That single moment shattered the misconception the world had built around her. The curiosity loop snapped open. If she had this strength now, what else had she been quietly preparing for? But her evolution didn't accelerate there. It exploded. Her move to UWC Atlantic. A school known globally for shaping future leaders, diplomats, thinkers, and changemakers. Not a royal bubble. Not a palace-controlled environment. But an international crucible of cultures, ideas, and worldviews. Here, she wasn't the heir. She was simply Leonor, a teenager learning, integrating, debating, and understanding the world outside her royal lineage. This was the moment Spain's future queen stepped into the global arena. And if the world thought she would simply blend in, they were mistaken. What she gained there was not just education, but perspective. An understanding of how young leaders view conflict, peace, climate, migration, technology, and cultural change. A realization that monarchy cannot survive on tradition alone. It must adapt, modernize, engage. This experience sharpened her sense of purpose. It carved her worldview. And when she returned to Spain, the difference was unmistakable. Her voice matured, her posture strengthened, her gaze steadied. She no longer looked like someone stepping into the role someday. She looked like someone already carrying it. Then came the oath, her most defining moment, a turning point not only for her career, but for the monarchy itself. In that solemn room, surrounded by history, politics, and global attention, she spoke with precision. Confidence, responsibility, and something deeper. She wasn't just reciting a constitutional statement. She was marking a transition from preparation to performance. From learner to leader. This moment created a shift felt across generations. Older Spaniards saw continuity. Younger Spaniards saw renewal. The world saw a modern royal who understood the gravity of her position. And her family, especially Queen Letizia and King Felipe, saw the fulfillment of years of private effort and guidance. A daughter not molded by pressure but strengthened by preparation. But evolution does not stop at a ceremony. Another curiosity loop opened. Now that she took her oath, how would she lead? This question guided the next chapter of her transformation, military training. A pivotal decision, a demanding journey, a symbolic and functional necessity. Many heirs train militarily, but very few embrace it with the level of commitment she showed. She wasn't merely completing a requirement. She was pushing her limits. Grit, exhaustion, precision, endurance, discipline, teamwork. The training wasn't meant to make her a soldier. It was meant to make her a leader who understands sacrifice, hierarchy, and national service. And as images of her training surfaced, the world began to see something that had been building all along. Determination, toughness, maturity, dedication. A young future queen stepping into roles traditionally dominated by men, with grace and authority. The public narrative shifted again. The evolution became unmistakable. The turning points were no longer invisible. They were publicly unfolding. But another, quieter shift was happening behind the scenes, her relationship with the people. Not a romantic relationship, a civic relationship, a sense of connection that made her more than a symbol. She began showing comfort in public spaces, genuine appreciation when speaking with citizens, a calm and open demeanor during ceremonies, and a presence that blended warmth with leadership. This was not performance, it was growth, a natural evolution shaped by years of training and an inner sense of responsibility. With every appearance, another curiosity loop emerged. What kind of queen will she be? The traditional kind who preserves monarchy through ceremony, or the modern kind who strengthens it through transparency, empathy, and connection? That question remains open, and it's one of the reasons her journey captivates so many. Her evolution is still unfolding. Now we reach the deeper dimension of her turning points, family dynamics. The world tends to idealize royal families, but behind their polished appearances lie complex emotions. The tension between public duty and private life. The pressures placed on parents raising a future monarch. The sacrifices siblings must make. The responsibilities that override personal desires. Within this environment, Leonor developed resilience. She watched her father guide a country through challenging years. She saw her mother redefine the role of a modern queen through professionalism, balance, and strict sense of ethics. And she learned from both of them that leadership is not inherited. It is built. These family lessons became crucial turning points. Discipline without coldness, strength without rigidity, empathy without weakness, professionalism without distance, each quality woven into her character through daily example rather than royal instruction. As she continues her path, the evolution becomes richer. She begins attending high-level events with increasing independence. She speaks more frequently, each time with greater ease. She embraces her roles with visible commitment. She balances tradition and modernity. She communicates with subtlety, maturity, and purpose. And she carries an air of steady confidence that signals a future queen who will grow stronger with time. But beneath all this lies the final, profound curiosity loop. What turning points still await her? Her evolution is far from complete. And every future milestone has the potential to redefine her reign. The first major official tour. The first major speech before world leaders. The dynamics of her public identity. The challenges Spain may face. The transformation of monarchy in a rapidly changing world. All of these will shape her in ways none of us can yet predict. But what we do know is this: Princess Leonor is not the shy child the world once assumed she was. She is the product of years of deliberate preparation, emotional grounding, academic discipline, and family guidance. Her evolution is not random. It is intentional. And her turning points are not accidents. They are milestones of growth. As she continues rising, the world watches not out of curiosity alone, but out of fascination. A future queen shaped by silence, discipline, education, public duty, military training, and emotional strength. A leader evolving through each turning point, shedding misconceptions and stepping boldly toward her destiny. This is the evolution of Princess Leonor. A story still being written. A journey still unfolding. And a future that promises to redefine what modern royalty can be.